How do you feel about Bitcoin?
Nice. That is a good transition. So personally, I look at Bitcoin as an insurance policy, right? Insurance, like what are the chances that your house is going to burn down? I mean, almost zero. Like what are the chances that if you do get in a little fender bender, you're going to completely total your car? Probably almost zero. The chances are actually pretty good that if you just didn't pay any insurance, you pocketed that money every single month, that you'd have more than enough to pay for that. But in case of a worst case scenario at bad timing, you want that insurance to be there to protect you. So personally, I've got about like 10% of my liquid portfolio allocated to Bitcoin as an insurance policy. And, I've been doing it since April of 2020. So it's worked out really, really well. But I don't know if I want to add a whole lot to it because it's kind of like, what's to stop a competitor from coming in and eating Bitcoin's lunch? I mean, it has $1 trillion in market, capital allocation right now. So it's like very, very steady. It's definitely the strongest one. And I do see how awesome it is that it decentralizes finance and you can help pull people out of poverty. You can send money across borders. So personally, I'm a really, really big fan. And I think that especially in this inflationary environment, like we talked about, we printed 35% of the US dollars ever printed were between like March of last year and right now. Like that's insane, right? Like how does that not have a negative effect on the dollar? And so I think that for me personally, I like it. I want to hold on to it because it doesn't really have any correlation with the US dollar. And in case everything hits the fan, then, it's nice to have some sort of protection. But I mean, what's your opinion on it?
My opinion? Great question. Well, I was going to ask you one more question, and then I'll give you my opinion. So you're not 100% in like moving all your portfolio into Dogecoin or something like that, right?
I don't have any Dogecoin personally.
Me neither.
But I've been wrong about that. So I would have said that I would have thought our rate tanked. I have a tiny bit of Ethereum, but hands down majority of my crypto is in Bitcoin. But yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of the dollars, to be honest. Like I hardly hold anything in US dollars. It's either in stocks or it's in crypto or it's in real estate. And I'm investing more and more in real estate too.
That's crazy. So I'm the exact same way. I look at the dollar, if it's sitting in a bank account, it's just going to go down in value, right? So I put a lot of my resources into Bitcoin and I have Ethereum. I like Ethereum a lot. I like how it's solving problems that need to be solved, especially on like even in real estate. Yeah. Imagine having a smart contract in real estate that once all the obligations are met, it would instantly go through and you didn't need a lawyer to go through it as to make it happen. You just need the money to cross accounts. So there's a lot of cool functions in that way. To your point, I don't know if Ethereum is going to be the one that does, that figures that out, or if it's going to be some other coin. So there is some risk involved with that. I do think that Bitcoin, Ethereum, or something else is going to change financing the way the internet changed business. Right now, you remember the .com boom. There's a lot of businesses that went out of business, and there was a lot of businesses, frankly, nobody should have been investing in. They just didn't make sense. A lot of
cryptocurrencies are like that, for sure.
Yes, exactly. So the way I look at it is this: is that in the .com boom, if you would have picked Google, eBay, PayPal, or businesses like that, you would have made a killing, right? But if you picked 98% of the other businesses that were out during that time, you would have failed. I look at the crypto industries the same way, and it's going to change how finances work, especially in these third world countries or countries that don't have really great monetary systems and loans and things like that. The other thing that's really cool about crypto to me is that you can put money there and you can get liquid really quick, and you can also borrow against it, and you can do it relatively easily. I've tried moving money from point A to point B in large amounts, and it's hard. Like it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and there's a lot of hoops you have to jump in. Once it's in cryptocurrency, you can move hundreds of thousands of dollars at a click of a button, and it's relatively easy and cheap. It doesn't cost much to do it. Obviously, there's security issues, right? Like you don't want your money to get stolen, and they're still figuring that out, and it's not insured. That's the big thing is that if you put your money in a bank, it's insured up to a certain point. Crypto, you're putting it in there. The federal government's basically, hey, if it's gone, it's gone, and good luck. So that's my opinion on it. Who knows what its what's going to happen or how long it's going to take to happen, but there's definitely going to be a shakeup in finance because the technology hasn't caught up with the finance side of things yet, and it's just a matter of time.
Well, if you just, I like thinking about it in terms of decentralization. It's like, when has large, conglomerates of power like been good ever, right? And right now, every single country acts as a monopoly or a dictatorship over the monetary system. And so what you have with Bitcoin that I love for the first time ever is you have a real competitor for the US dollar. And so it's kind of mind blowing the fact that the Fed has a public mandate to increase inflation by 2% a year. Like that's not a good thing, but they say it publicly as if it is, because inflation.
Well, it's good. It's good if you're in debt,
yes, which
right?
the US.
It's good if you're in debt. Bingo. And now if you're trying to get ahead and save your money, it's horrible.
Yep.
Right?
And that's the average. And so that's what's so ironic about the whole thing is the average wage earner that needs the most help their wages are the last people. Wage earners are the last people to benefit from inflation, and which means that they're not benefiting at all, right? So with inflation, you have prices of assets go up and the prices of commodities go up, and then lastly is the price of labor goes up, right? And so they're never able to get ahead of it. And so when you have somebody who has like less than $5,000 to their name, the chances are they're not investing that in anything, right? Like they're scraping by, and so you're not going to invest that in a crypto or whatever. And so I think that optimistically, I hope that the central banks will look at something like crypto and think like, okay, maybe we can't just print as much as we want because it's self-fulfilling, right? Like you as a politician, if you can increase the federal debt ceiling, then you can give handouts to people who are in turn going to vote for you. And the ironic part is the fact that the people who need these handouts the most are the ones who are going to end up paying the hardest because the inflation is going to hit them. And so really, and people who are like viewed as the villains and the wealthy and the bad guys, they all own assets. And so when you print money, all it does is it drives up the value of their assets. So they benefit more, right? It's actually, you're getting money off the back of the poor when you create inflation. And so my hope is that Bitcoin kind of challenges the de facto monetary currencies like around the world and makes them, make more logical or I guess competitive decisions about what to do, and then hopefully we'll have less inflation, will drive down like the amount of handouts that we're trying to give people, because all that happens is you create this huge debt, and then the really wealthy, they make money in capital gains, not income, so they're really not paying the same taxes. So it's really the middle and the lower classes that are paying the income taxes to pay for the debt, but even that isn't enough, and so you have to have inflation to get out of it. And so it's just this house of cards that we've built that's just cycling,
vicious cycle,
for deeper and deeper every single year. So I hope that we kind of start to unwind from some of that before it's too late.